Chapter 5, dump the dairy.
Oh boy, this is where everyone gets super upset.
Isn't yogurt meant to be so good for me? And doesn't it have the probiotics that my gut
yogurt? You know, it's so interesting.
Activia.
This is the biggest challenge for people by far. And I'll have people say, listen, I can get rid of the gluten and the soy and the corn and the peanuts and the eggs, but the dairy, I'm just going to do it, and I'm going to drop 6 foods. And what I like in dropping 6 foods to is, if you were sitting on 7 tacks right now, right? How would your butt feel?
Oh, yeah.
Not good.
Awful.
So you'd get up and you go, you know what? I'm going to take 6 tacks away, and then I'm going to sit back down on that last tack.
Yeah, that's what's still painful.
You cannot not pull the cheese out. The cheese, I will tell you, the dairy was the hardest thing for me. Oh my gosh. I mean, I grew up right outside of San Francisco. I grew up on cheese and sourdough bread. Like, those were my things. And then yogurt from Yogurt Park in Berkeley.
Yum. All my favorite stuff.
Yeah. And then I was like, I mean, you know, yogurt, frozen yogurt was my meal. That was it. It was so healthy. But dairy has a lot of issues. The biggest issue is it raises insulin. So and especially a lot of these non-fat, if you're pulling the fat out, something's got to stay in. And usually what's happened is now you've just got a bunch of what I call liquid sugar. Mm-hmm. So the biggest challenge that happens with dairy is that it's very insulinogenic. It raises insulin. So in terms of trying to lose weight and lose inflammation, dairy is very inflammatory and very insulin producing. This is super duper problematic. And if you have any skin problems at all, mm-hmm. like I struggled with my skin from the age of 12 until the day I dropped dairy.
Wow. And I hear that over and over again. And it's funny because people will argue to keep dairy in, and they'll keep swearing how dairy.
Because they're addicted.
They are. Dairy is so addictive. There was a wonderful documentary that, in fact, even showed, and of course, then there's the whole calcium argument, right? Well, why?
Oh, that's ridiculous. Yeah.
And there was this documentary which showed, in fact, that countries that had the highest consumption of dairy had the highest rate of osteoporosis.
Yes. Yeah. And so, that's what's so funny. And the kids that drink the most milk they did the nurses study here. The nurses that drank the most milk had the highest rate of osteoporosis. And people go, but the calcium. Yeah. First of all, the calcium's not the important factor in your bone health. It's being alkaline so you don't leach the calcium out of your bones. It's having good vitamin D so you absorb calcium. It's having good vitamin K so you put it in the right places. You know, there's so many things that are involved in bone health, and everyone's like tries to say it's the calcium. But the calcium in milk is very poorly absorbed because milk's acidic. So that's the other big joke here, is that drinking milk, you know, the whole silly milk mustache and drinking
exactly. That's again what the industry did. What a brilliant campaign. I mean, dairy was
incredible,
not consumed right up until those ads with those mustaches, but also those brownies. I'll never forget, like driving, going, oh, I think I'm going to pull over and buy some cake for myself and some milk. Those ads were so compelling. And I think, you know, anytime anyone goes on any kind of a diet, I always say, stop watching ads, stop watching TV.
Yeah.
Because they are going to corrode on your willpower and make
Well, remember too, so your body, you eat a food, the antigens from the food pass through your small intestine because it's leakier. Your body has antibodies that grab a hold of the antigens and form immune complexes. You decide to stop eating the food. The immune complexes start to go away, but the antibodies are still lying in wait, waiting for that dairy, and they're going to be very noisy and angry, wanting to get it for 3 or 4 days. So what's important here is if there's a food that you're going, I can't give that up, that is your kryptonite. That is the classic sign that you have a food intolerance to that food. That's the food.
That's the one to go.
Yep.